So hi everybody and welcome to today's training on the new Salesforce community portal. So this is going to be where you're going to enter support tickets now for all of your CoreLogic products. We're going to be doing GoMLS here, Matrix, LDC, Realist, and we'll probably be adding Trestle coming in here soon as well. It's not here yet though. But today, in this session, we're just going to be focusing on entering tickets for Matrix and LDC and Realist. So we'll be showing you all how to submit tickets for each and every one of those products today. Now, the big reason for today's training is because Salesforce has undergone an upgrade. So for those of you who are used to submitting tickets for the Matrix and LDC and Realist platforms in Salesforce, you're now going to be using the Salesforce system on this new Lightning platform. So it's got a very new look and feel compared to the old Salesforce platform. Now you're going to have a new URL for this site too. And this is going to happen on Tuesday, by the way. So by Tuesday, this new Salesforce community portal will be available to you. But the good news is you're going to be using the exact same login credentials for this site as you currently use for Salesforce. So basically on Tuesday, when you log into Salesforce using your old URL, you're going to get a pop-up that looks a lot like this. You're not going to be able to log into the old Salesforce. It's going to say that we've upgraded to Lightning. It's going to give you the new URL down here, update your bookmarks, update your password, or update your bookmarks. Your username and password will not have changed. And of course, reach out to your client services representative if you have any issues. But that's the pop-up that you'll get on Tuesday. And then, of course, we'll send you over here. I'm showing you this in a sandbox environment right now, so ignore the URL up there at the top. But again, I'm going to log in right now and show you what the new look and feel looks like. So we'll hit that login button. And here is what your new portal looks like. Another quick thing to tell you about the new portal, if you are accessing this from a tablet or from a phone, it is also a responsive design. So you can see things kind of snap to depending on what size your screen is there. So nice responsive design. That's the way we're trying to go with a lot of different products now. So you're going to be able to access them from your desktop, from your laptop, from your tablet, even from your phone if you need to as well. But already you can see the new layout has a really nice look and feel. Now, don't worry, regardless of which products you use, if you're not seeing some of these tabs up here, don't worry. The process for submitting the tickets is quite similar across all the products. I kind of have magic access to just about everything right now, but if you don't have, GoMLS, or you don't have Realist, you only have Matrix, or vice versa, you're just going to see, of course, the products that are relevant to you and to your MLS, of course, too. So down here below, you can also see, that's the most important part. When you're logged in, just make sure you're logged in as yourself and make sure that you're looking at the MLS to which you belong as well. So you see your name and the name of the association that you belong to right here. I'm logged in as Brent, and we've created a fake MLS today for today's demo purposes called Awesome MLS. And these are actually a couple of things that you'll start to see are going to get auto-populated into any of your tickets without having to manually enter them anymore. So that's a nice new feature. Now, there are different ways to, of course, access all your tickets up here and start new tickets by using these headers. But one of the things that we've done is we've created this new Quick Create button down here, or Quick Create sort of drop down here at the bottom. So this is kind of a nice new feature that allows you to quickly create tickets for any product that you're interested in. So now in my drop down, I have Matrix, I have Listing Data Checker, and I have GoMLS. What we're going to do is we're going to start with Matrix. So Matrix was already selected anyway as a default, but you can see you can switch to any of those others, and we'll do that as we move on in today's session too. So now I'm just going to hit next. So now what you'll see is that we're going to present you with a number of fields that are specific to a Matrix request. We've even got some help text down here for you as well to help you out with things that you can put in any of these different sections, but we'll go through each and every one of these. So you don't have to start from scratch like the previous version of Salesforce, which is very nice, but we'll start by putting in a subject for our name of the issue up here. So for example, I'll put in, listing input not working. That's a big one. Priority, yeah, we'd probably want to set that pretty high. In fact, we've got low, medium, and high. You're probably used to these. Critical is, of course, drop everything and fix this right now. I could make this critical too. Certainly if listing input's not working, that's a pretty big one. But for right now, we'll just put in high here as well. Now next, we can come in and choose that request type. So if I go down to request, there's a lot to choose from here, plenty to choose from in this drop down. But in this case, since listing input is not working, I'll put in something like issue/bug. But you can see you've got display, configuration, database. Many of these things really shouldn't have changed for you. So you should be all some of the same things that you've seen in the classic version too. Next, we move down into the description, and here's where the help text comes in. So remember, the more detailed and specific, the better it is when it comes to descriptions. So for example, what we'd like to see in a description, so particularly so we don't have to do too much going back and forth with notes and questions to folks and what's going on and what needs to be done here. For features and enhancements, what's the need? What's the goal of the change? What do you want to see done? What you need added? And what parts of Matrix is this going to affect? Property types, searches, displays, things like that. So try to be clear and concise on those. Now, if there are system issues, if things are going wrong, what were you expecting to happen? Give us examples of who's doing it, what's happening, which listing, and then again, property types, only specific property types is this issue happening with, or is it a display name or a field name? And please give us the steps to reproduce whatever that is. So that all goes down here in the description section. Now, I'll just put some filler text in here. This is where your detailed description should go. You can put in an optional due date if you want to, and then there is, and you can see we get the little calendar pop up to help you out with that too. And then there's an external ID as well. So for example, if anybody on the call today belongs to an MLS that has its own Jira instance, you could put the Jira URL in there. That'll create a deep link back to the Jira ticket as well. There is also a slider down here for you too. And this is where you can actually add additional email addresses for notifications when things are updated with this ticket. So maybe you're the person who's used to using Salesforce, but you wanted to add a couple other people to the email on this so they have visibility to when changes are made with this ticket. Just go ahead and hit that slider there if you want to as well. Click that to yes, and then I'll go ahead and I'll hit next. Now you get the opportunity to put those email addresses in. You can put in up to 5. I'll just put in a dummy email address. test@test.com, and I'll go ahead and hit that next button again. So now as I scroll up a little bit, oh dear, oh my. Let's try that one more time. Sorry, I got that error message there. Give it a medium priority, come in here, test description, and we'll skip the email addresses this time. Go ahead and hit next. And sorry, I'm in a sandbox environment, so sometimes it does go a little bit slow. You know what I think that was? I put in that invalid email address. That was the issue. So I was trying to kind of fool it by putting in that invalid email address. So must be a good email address. Make sure it is. I think I've put that one in before and gotten some error messages. But now what you see is that your ticket's been created. So you've got a deep link up here. Notice this is hyperlinked. So here's your ticket number, and you can actually click right in there and go into that ticket. You can even upload files here if you had any screenshots or files that were associated with this issue. You can go ahead and upload them from here. You can even click and drag them and drop them right here if you want to as well. We'll get to more about that in a second. But right now, let me show you how that link works. I'm just going to go ahead and click on that link. It's going to take me into the new ticket that I just created. So there's my new ticket that I just made. So first of all, you can see it already put in the customer name, AMLS. Remember, I didn't have to put that in. I logged in, knew what MLS I belonged to, put that in for me. The owner put in my name automatically as well. It even set the status for me down here to created. So those are a lot of things that you had to do manually in the old version of Salesforce. But now, again, there's a lot of background work that this new Salesforce version does that the old version didn't. Of course, over here at the right on the top, we're sort of towards the top, you've got the associated notes and files, and then any history that's gone on with the ticket as well. So right now you can see it's been created and it was made publicly viewable as well. And then something else that we've added to this new version of Salesforce up here are some shortcuts up here at the top. One is change to completed. Another up here is add new note. And there's also create new ticket up here too. And in this drop down over here, you've also got edit and you've also got clone as well, which is basically you can copy this ticket too. Now these buttons, to be clear, do the exact same thing as just coming down here and editing these fields below. So you can edit them here, but we've just given you shortcuts to these things instead. So for example, I'm going to click on change to completed right now. That gives me a new pop-up window. And now I can put in some notes if I want to. I can put in a completion date as well if I'd like to as well, and I can add any sort of comment to it too. And we got some basic formatting for you down here, left and right justified, bullet points, some bold and things like that, but not too much else down there. And again, let's cancel out of here for a second. The other thing we've got is we've got add new note. So if you wanted to add a new note to this ticket, you don't have to come down here and put in status notes or come down and put in a new note down here in description. You can just come up here. Oh, by the way, notice the mouse overs you get telling you exactly who these things are and who these owners when you go over the little I buttons on some of these. But again, this shortcut, adding a new note, going to go ahead and click on that. And that brings up a pop-up that just simply allows me to add a comment. So we'll just put in, this is my new note. Hit save. And then everything updates, and here's my new note, just created. You get a little piece of information about when it was created and whatnot. And by the way, whenever you might have noticed you complete a task in Salesforce, up at the top, you get that little green pop-up letting you know that you've performed an action or what it is that you've just done. But of course, now you see that note up there at that top of the ticket over there on the right-hand side. And then, of course, you can also come up here, as I mentioned, via this drop-down, and you can hit edit on the ticket. That opens up every single field for editing. So there's my subject, my priority, the request type. Any of these things can be changed, the description, any new notes, and update any of those email sections as well if you'd like to too. And then a couple of things down here that are automatically populated, but I'll cancel out of here for a second. And the last thing you can do is you can also just clone this ticket if you want to as well. So that's just a way to copy this ticket. If you've got an issue that's extremely similar to this and you'd like to not start from scratch again, you can use the clone button, and pretty much everything you see in this ticket will be cloned over to a new ticket as well. So that's really creating a ticket for the most part. At this point, let's click on the Matrix LDC tab up here up top and show you my list of issues, because that's what this will get you to start with. So when I click on that header on Matrix LDC, I get my sort of one-line view here. So as you see my single-line view, there is something a little bit different on this view right now. Right now you can see it's defaulting to my open requests. So see that up here? I've got defaulted to my open requests. In the old system, it always would default to your most recently viewed items. And another nice feature is that you can now change the default view. So if I use this drop down right here, you can see I've got completed requests, my completed requests, I should say, my open enhancement requests, my open requests, and of course, as you saw, recently viewed, which you can see is pinned right there too. So if you select any of these and then click the push pin and then click that view, that'll be your new default. So you can see I can go to recently viewed. And what you can see right now is to unpin, I can just pin another list view. So there's my recently viewed. And if I pin that, now that's going to be my default view each and every time I come into my Matrix and LDC header there. The other thing to notice is there used to be a little go button right here. So remember, it used to say you were on a certain view, but if you saw that go button, you weren't actually looking at that view in Salesforce. Now that's gone. These things automatically happen. And of course, as I mentioned, you get the little pop-up up here at the top, letting you know that you've completed any of those activities whenever you're doing any of that. A couple other nice changes in this version on the grid is the ability to resize the columns. You weren't able to do that before, so now you can click and drag and make those a little bit wider, a little bit narrower if you want to. You can even create your own custom view now too. So all you have to do is come over here to these headers, and you can see I've got a gear icon over here. So you can just click that gear icon and you can create yourself a new list if you want to. You only have the option to set this view for yourself, however, no sharing with your teams or anything like that. A new would start from scratch here. Actually, let me go over to a copy of my enhancement request. You'll see a couple. Actually, it wasn't that one I wanted. Let's go to my open enhancement requests. And then over here, you've got a couple of different choices. You've got new, you've got clone as well. That would copy this existing view. You're not going to be able to edit the system views. So only the system views that you have available, you won't be able to edit those. So notice my open enhancement request. That's a system view that's going to be available to you the first time you log in. I went over here to the right-hand side and I clicked this little funnel to do some filtering right now. And you can see these filters are locked for me right now. I can't change any of these right now. But if I go over to, say, maybe a different view, let's take a look at maybe my completed requests or anything else. Actually, let me get on one that I've actually created. We'll go to copy my open requests, and I'm looking at a Kanban view right now. We'll get to more about that in a minute. I'll switch back over to table. But now what you see is I go over to these filters, and I can now edit these different filters. So earlier, prior to the training, I cloned that view, the one that said copy of my open requests. And now over at the right, you can do a whole bunch of different things. You can filter by owner, for example. So I'll go ahead and I'll click on that. So on this one, you can see my matrix items. That would be defined as anything where I'm the owner, or where you would be the owner when you're logged in. All would be everything, but then of course you can apply additional criteria if you want to. Next, I'll come down here and I'll click on status. You can see again, we've got the field, we've got the operator, and that's the way most of these filters are going to be. Less than, equal to, is, contains, does not contain, things like that. And then you have a bunch of different values down here as well. So that's status. Now then you've got over here record type is another one. Coming down a little bit lower, you've also got publicly viewable, whether it is or is not publicly viewable. Down here you've also got request type. So again, these are all filters that you can change if you'd like to. One that probably needs a little bit further explanation is likely record type. Let me show you record type right now. So you got record type, you've got the equals. When you come down here into value, you've got a lot of different things available for you, so it can get confusing. Let me just make it simple for everybody on the phone right now. Ignore everything else you see here except MLS requests and notes. Because everybody who's on the phone today, I'm fairly certain all of your security levels are such that if you choose any of these other types, you'll get no results. So basically only use MLS requests or notes here. And again, same thing for publicly viewable. If for some reason you change this to no, you're not going to see anything here. So we have given you a lot of things that you maybe don't necessarily want to press those buttons here or there, but the upshot is we really wanted to be able to allow you to really fine tune your views now and see whatever it is that you want to see and nothing that you don't. Down here at the bottom, getting off those filters or staying on those filters, you can come down here and you can add your own custom filter if you want to, as you can see. So again, choose that field, choose that operator, choose that value. Easy to just take them out right here by hitting the X next to them. You can even hit remove all. You've even got the ability to add some filter logic as well if you'd like to as well. So here, I'll close out of filters for just a moment there. And now up top, you can actually decide what fields you want to add, in what order you want to add them. So this lets you completely customize the grid view we're looking at right now. So yet again, go back to that gear and you can see since I'm on a custom view that I created, and remember, if you see these grayed out, you're likely on a system view. My suggestion to you would be to, again, create a new one from scratch, clone it, whichever one you're on, if you like the way that one was built, and then you have all these list controls and all these filter controls for you as well. So when I go ahead and I hit select fields to display, for example, on this one, you get a pop-up, and here are all the available fields I have to add to this view. You can scroll through them, you can highlight them, you can move them to and from available and visible using these arrows right here. And now here's everything I've got visible over here on the right. And if you want to add or change the order of where these are showing up, you can move these up or down using these arrows for you as well too. So remember, this is limited to only fields that you're allowed to see. So you wouldn't be able to see a field like, the JIRA number. That's an internal reference for the most part. So I'll close out of here now. Now you can also come up here and always create from scratch a new request if you want to. So I can go ahead and click on new. That'll again ask me if I want to create an MLS request or a note. And of course, the other thing that you can do is you can just click on one of these requests. So we can just take a look. We took a look at one that we created earlier. Here's one that I created a while back. That's got a little bit more information filled out in it, excuse me. Files over here on the right, as we mentioned earlier, dramatically improved. So you can now drag or drop files or just upload them from your computer. So if I've got a file here, let's say maybe it's just an image or something like that, all I have to do is click and drag, and it actually adds it over there for me. So I get that little pop-up, and then once it's done uploading, and it's taking a second since that's a big image file, I'll just go ahead and hit done. And then you can see I get the little green pop-up letting me know something was done. Once you upload a file, you do get a little preview, tells you what type of file it is, the file name, and other things. And now you can go ahead and you can click on it if you want to as well. And this will give you a preview of what it is too. So just a photo of the house in this case. You've got a couple of different things that this gives you now. You can download it from here if you need to. You can view the file details if you'd like to as well. You can even upload a new version too. And then you've even got a history where you can look at earlier versions if you want to, if you'd like to make any comparisons for yourself. So here, I'll close out of here for the moment. You've actually got the ability to edit. You can delete it here too, but let me just close out of here. But here's all the files that I've uploaded. Again, if you as a customer upload or add a file, it's going to be automatically public and viewable. If the folks here at CoreLogic add a file internally, there is a toggle that needs to be flipped for us in order to make it viewable to you. So you can add images here. You can add screenshots here too. Speaking of screenshots, you probably will be adding some screenshots to some of these things. Another thing that we can also do is we can actually add screenshots right here in the notes section now. So if I just do a screenshot, and I just did a control print screen right there. Let's go down a little bit. We'll go into the description or the notes fields, either one. Click on the pencil next to these. And remember, I just did a screenshot. You couldn't see me do it, but I'm just going to do a control V to paste right now. And there you go. I made a screenshot. You can put it right in the notes. You can put it right in the descriptions as well. That's something that you weren't able to ever do in the classic platform as well. Here, I'll hit the save button down there. So easy to get images in there if you'd like to too. Oh, so at this point, so that you can see the history, everything's updating here. There's my notes that have been added, any of my files, so very easy to access any of that information. Let's go back to the home page right now. And again, remember, as a user, you're going to be able to see anything that's related to your customer name here, like awesome MLS or fake MLS or anything related to your system code. You'll get everything down there as well. But that was creating a matrix ticket, basically. Let's take a look at creating an LDC ticket. And here's where I do want to draw a distinction. You can click on matrix LDC up here, and you can go up here and click new. But that's going to create you that new generic matrix LDC item. If you want to get a little bit more specific, go back to the home page here and go down to this quick create. And now you do have two choices. Remember, matrix or LDC. If you choose LDC down here from quick create, it's going to give you some more information that's, again, specific to the listing information for, or excuse me, to the issue information for LDC here, basically. So again, I'll fill out these fields. I'll put in the subject, listing problem. Something generic here. Priority, we'll go ahead and we can make this one low if we want to. And then again, we give you all the information that you'd need to put in here if there was an LDC issue. Again, an example listing, expected behavior, actual behavior for changes. Again, all that help text for you down here as well. I'll just put some test ticket information down here in the description field. You've again got the due date too. And then again, of course, you've got the external ID, and if you wanted to add external email addresses for notifications. So nothing too different here from what you saw in the matrix ticket there before. So I'll hit next. And then yet again, up here, you can see that this ticket has been created. We get the deep link automatically created here, and I'll go ahead and I'll click on that ticket. Now, just as you can see with the matrix ticket that we did before, a number of fields are already pre-populated with data for me. I'm only seeing the fields that I would need to submit an LDC ticket. Otherwise, really, as you can see here, everything should be exactly the same as when we created the matrix ticket earlier. But let's go ahead and click on the header here again for matrix LDC. I just want to get a little bit deeper into searching around here for you too. So let's use this search this list button up here, and let me go ahead and just put in, for example, LDC. And I'll go ahead and hit enter. And now you see I've dramatically limited my list. So this search box is going to search every field that has LDC in the title, in the description, or in the notes. So it's going to search all three of those fields, not just what's visible here on the grid, because again, this could be a custom view of yours as well. But honestly, other than that, that's really about it for LDC tickets too. There's really no changes on the files, the notes. This grid also work exactly the same as they did before when we showed you matrix. Just remember, use that drop-down quick create for LDC tickets rather than the generic matrix LDC header at the top, and that way you'll get the field specific to that LDC ticket rather than the more generic matrix LDC ticket. So at this point, we can go ahead and we can jump into Realist tickets. I'll go ahead and hit home. What you'll notice is there is no drop-down for Realist here. So if you do want to create Realist tickets, all my Realist users on the line today, come up here to the very top. You'll have a link up here for Realist issue management. And already what you see are some test Realist tickets that I've already created here as well. So again, there've really been no changes. You can come in here and you can hit new at the top if you want to. So if you'd like to create a new ticket, remember, go to Realist Issue Management first. That gets you to your list. Same issue goes on, or same deal with pinning your different views. If you want to do a different view or anything like that, you have all these changes. We just call them ICPs now, of course, as you're used to using in the Realist nomenclature. And it sounds like Realist Quick Create will be added in the very near future, so that will be coming up. But for right now, we'll have Realist Issue Management up there for you at the top. But for right now, I'll go ahead and hit New. You can see it automatically populates my system, my MLS name, which is great information. It's going to put in my ICP status, customer priority. We'll go ahead and set this as medium. Who reported this? We'll say I did. Affected address, we'll put some information in here. The affected APN. And county is a lookup table, actually, which is kind of nice. So if you start putting some stuff in there, you're going to get Orange County, Vermont, Orange County, Virginia. We'll put in Orange County, Virginia right now. And all you have to do is come down here and hit save. Oh, sorry, I missed the description. That's, of course, what I need to do. We got to put in a title here. Sorry, I forgot about that. You can see if you ever made any mistakes, if there's some stuff you wanted to scroll down a little bit lower because you missed it, you can put in your test here. Test information, I'll say. My address issue, we'll put something generic in there. Need to get this address corrected. You've got the ability to put in comments here down here at the bottom as well. So pretty much all of the same things for Realist that you'd be used to using in Classic, just a bit of a different look now on this new Lightning platform. So I'll go ahead and I'll save this ticket, and you'll see what a submitted ticket looks like. And again, keep in mind I'm in the sandbox environment now, so things going a little bit slower, but they will be working lightning fast on your new Lightning platform when we bring that up. But let's go ahead and click on that Realist header again. Actually, I'm sorry, you've got the edit, you've got the change owner over here, you've got the change record type buttons up here where you can always make these new types of changes if you want to as well. So those shortcuts still going to be working for you as well. But let's click on that Realist Issue Management header again, because again, all the features I showed you with lists, and with new views when we were looking at the matrix and LDC tickets all apply to the Realist tickets as well. Different views all over here, the ability to pin them as well. Here, I'll switch over to all ICPs, for example. And as I switch over to that, I get a different view. As you can see, a lot of different fields showing up. But really, no more to show you for Realist tickets. Let's quickly switch over to Matrix LDC again. Remember, I showed you a couple of different neat things that we could do over the right that we haven't gotten to yet. There are a couple of buttons that I haven't showed you everything on. I did show you the gears, of course. We went through that. We took a look at show filters. And one of the ones that's actually cool underneath the table, and you saw kind of a preview of this a minute ago as I had my default view saved this way, is you can actually switch to a Kanban view, which I kind of like. When I go ahead and switch to this Kanban, you get a couple of different choices. Oh, looks like I need to go to my copy of my open requests and then go to my Kanban view, and we'll choose that. And now you can see what I did, and it would give you a pop-up if you've never done this before, is I went ahead and I sorted by the different statuses that these are in: critical, high, medium, or low. So these are different ways where you can, again, edit these Kanbans if you want to, and you can view things by owner or by closed or open tickets. So for those of you who don't like a list, you like a little bit more of a card view, you know, Realist has moved to that in the recent past, you can use that Kanban view. But we've also got that table view here as well. And folks, that's really about it for creating tickets today. We're going to be adding Trestle probably at some point in the future, but not at this time. So that once that gets moved over, it's going to be very similar to what I've shown you for Matrix and LDC. And of course, we'll be doing GoMLS in a little bit here in about another hour. I'll be doing a GoMLS. If any of you are joining us on that one, feel free. Last thing I'd like to show you up here, your user profile. So you can actually click up here on this little icon, and you can go to your user profile if you want to. So here, you can do some basics. You can change your time zone. You can change your password here. You can change your language if you need to as well. Change your email. So first time you log in, if there's anything that's not up to date, come on in here and make sure you make those changes the first time. But folks, other than that, we'll go back to that home page. That's really all we had to show you for making tickets today. We'll see if there are any questions. Let's see, I do have a couple. Will previous tickets created on the current ticket system migrate over to the new system? And I believe that's going to happen. I don't know the schedule of that. I do have Bev with me on the line. Bev, do you know? And you can just type that in if you want to. Just I'm not sure what the process is for when and how those are going to be copied over.
Yeah, we've changed the UI that you see, but the back end has not changed. So we still have all of the existing tickets that are in your system. So you'll have the same login. It's just a new URL, new look and feel on the front end, new way of accessing those tickets, but all the existing content is still there for you.
All right. Thank you, Bev. And last question, will autofill be coming to Realist tickets like it is for Matrix tickets? You did see some autofill there, Art, but I think what you see with the Realist tickets now, aside from the fact that we will be adding them down here to the drop-down as the quick create, Bev, I will defer to you once again. That might add some more autofill options, but it may not. I just wanted to check with you on that one.
We will be creating a quick create process for Realist as well, similar to what you saw for Matrix and LDC there. And that will probably be within the next few months.
Okay, and that'll have some little more auto pop than we probably saw instead of creating it using the new button, or do you think it'll be about the same?
I will defer to the Realist team on that, but
Okay.
we'll make it more efficient for you to create your Realist support tickets.
Thank you. And then last one, should emergency reporting, like my early example of listing edits not working, be reported through Salesforce? Or should we continue to report to our account rep? Or would you prefer both?
If it's a critical system issue, so let's say input is unavailable, users can't log in, use your normal emergency reporting services. We want to get that resolved as quickly as possible. The Salesforce ticketing is intended to replace a email or a spreadsheet that you might be using currently with your client services rep. So if you create a Salesforce support ticket, you then have access to that list of everything you've reported, the current statuses, and your client services rep will get an email when you create those tickets. So they do get alerted right away.
All right. Thank you very much, Bev, for jumping in on those questions. All right, folks, I don't see any other questions coming in. So I will leave it at that for all of you today. Again, Tuesday, you will be getting that new pop-up reminding you that we've upgraded to the new Lightning platform. We'll give you that new URL. All your login information is going to remain the same. And we really hope that we've created some stuff here that's going to make your job a lot easier, make your dealing with tickets a lot more simplified and a lot more streamlined. And we hope to just continue to create, or I should say provide, all the great customer service that you're used to getting from us, just in a new platform for you. So enjoy the new Lightning platform, and we will talk to you very soon. And Kyle, yes, I will throw you that Go MLS link in just a moment. I will email that directly to you. All right, everybody, take care. Thanks very much for joining today's session on the new Lightning platform for the Salesforce Community Portal, and we will talk to you all soon. Take care, everybody.